that a victory over United would all but end the Tangerines' interest in the title. Archie picks up the story of the match just before kick-off.
Well, it certainly was a serious jolt to Dundee United being knocked out of the cup at Love Street last week, but there has been no panic. These are very familiar names you can see there. At number 2, for example, Derek Stark, very consistent player, playing in his 127th league game. And back at number 7, Eamon Bannon, he's missed a couple of matches. And I was talking to Jim McLean just before coming up here, and he regards his role today as very important, considering that Ralph Milne is on the bench. Celtic, well, just have a look at that lineup, and it's a reflection on the richness of their strike capability that they can leave a player like Frank McGarvey on the bench. George McCluskey is preferred today, has been playing very well recently. And coming in once again is a player who's done so well since coming to Celtic, number 6, Graham Sinclair. I saw him play in the last league game here at Tannadice, and he was very impressive. Signed from Dumbarton for about £60,000. Referee today is one of the most experienced Grade 1 men in the business, Eddie Pringle from Edinburgh. Well, as it so happens, the two managers of the game today, Jim McLean and Billy McNeill, are very strong advocates of summer football. And this day in February is a kind of day they hate. It looks sunny and pleasant out there. There is, in fact, a very strong cold wind, but above all else, the pitch, although it is playable, is going to be very tricky. It's bone hard, and there's a kind of thin skin on it, which will cause all sorts of complications. Indeed, Jim McLean thinks the game will be won on the errors that are made. And it seems a pity that players, and there is undoubted talent in both sides, might have their play reduced to the absurd. But, as Billy McNeill said, that's winter football. Goff. That's a tricky ball right away, and I think Bonner might be quite pleased he got that opportunity to get a very early grasp of the ball. There he is, the Irish international goalkeeper, who's splendidly asserted himself between the sticks for Celtic. Nicholas drifts away to the left. That might be too much. Monty McLeod. Robin running left and slips. You can see the divot, the sliding divot that was taken away there. McStay, who scored a brilliant goal last time here. Oh, he's turned in. It must be Nicholas, the cheekiest of goals. 1-0. Well, I was talking about play being reduced to the absurd. Well, he made that absurdly simple. I think everybody had given it up for lost, but not Nicholas. Involves all a trap and a turn all into one, and to the amazement of Hamish McAlpin and no doubt every United follower, it was in the back of the net in 4 minutes. 1-0. Sturrock couldn't get back, and I think being pushed. Paul Sturrock, Sinclair beside him, Sinclair the cover man. And he really does cover. Look at he's keeping out on the side of the eye, and there's Dave Neddy! Well, that balanced itself out, didn't it? A brilliantly struck shot and superbly touched to the side. Well, it's a touch Hegarty certainly got there. Provan. 3 United defenders there. 3 against 2 it was, with McCluskey and Nicholas up. Well covered individually and with a spare man. Fed out very neatly to Richard Gough. Sturrock again, that ball hit far too high for him. Sinclair keeps close to him again. Dodds can't get it down. Billy Kirkwood. Look at the number of players in Danny McGrain, and that's just pass. Kirkwood wonders how he missed it. The man who had to pay £250 himself for his booking last week, that was the amount deducted from the cash that United earned, almost putting it away. Dodds, that's a good ball. Kirkwood. A bit obvious by Stark. Stark playing in front of the back line of defenders and coming forward occasionally. Bannon, McGrain gets there first. John Holt is in. That was an intelligent header. That was a deliberately looped header by Holt. It isn't very warm in Dundee today, but packed in there like sardines, the Celtic support, enjoying the luxury of body heat and that Charlie Nicholas goal. Sturrock. Little 1-2 there, and the shot came in. Good move by United, who are in fact playing very well. Obviously disappointed in losing that rather stunning goal earlier on, but they come back and played good football. It looked like a clash between Aiken and Billy Kirkwood. Sturrock beautifully to the side. Kirkwood goes through, he's done too much, I think. David Dodds, the wrong side. Oh! Well, from this angle, it looked as if it was heading for the net. David Dodds, extremely pleasant gentleman, David Dodds. Dodds goes for that. That's a good ball inside. Sturrock drives in, and again Sinclair. That was a very, very awkward ball for Sinclair to push out of the way, because the pace he was going at it, with Sturrock breathing down his neck, required great finesse. Look at the swirl in towards Bona. Well, the referee waved play on. From a moment I thought the goalkeeper had been fouled and that he had awarded that. 5 minutes of this first half remaining, and Bona certainly by far the busier of the two goalkeepers. Celtic, of course, will have the wind in the second half. There was hesitation there. It's an up and under. Watch the bounce, and he gets a touch and he scored. David Dodds. Well, I think Jim McLean's words are keenly prophetic. I think it's errors that have caused these, and I think it was the hesitation in this instance of the goalkeeper. I think he was worried about the bounce, but Dodds certainly wasn't. Got in there first, as Charlie Nicholas did in the first goal. And we're back on level terms. 3 minutes of this half remaining, and I think Celtic will be glad to get into the interval for a breather. There's appeal for a penalty kick, and I think what has been given, I think the referee has awarded a penalty kick. It looked like hands to me. Certainly he's going over to consult the linesman. There seems to be agreement. And Graham Sinclair, judged to have handled the ball as it bounced very awkwardly. We're getting back to this business of errors again. Certainly struck his hand. There's always this interpretation, did it play him or not? Handling it was, and we have the penalty kick. Virtually, just under 2 minutes of the first half remaining. Eamon Bannon. Oh, brilliant save! Absolutely superb save by Bonner. Look at how hard this was hit. Away goes McStay. We'll get back to that penalty kick again in a minute. Celtic are on the break. Is it Proven? Down it goes, and there's a nice deep ball inside. The game is burst alive again. There's David Nerry, Aiken, and there is offside given. And let's have a look at that Bonner save now. Now, this was all a case of Bannon having made up his mind to hit it hard for one area, the goalkeeper guessing right, going right after it, and that is one of the saves of the season. Kirkwood is there, that's a cross. John Holt gets in. Celtic tried to break, and there goes the half-time whistle. And that was a splendid first half. The highest commendation to both teams for mastering the conditions to a great extent. But we're talking about errors and hesitations and uncertainty, then we can put the 2 goals into that category. That first one by Charlie Nicholas, when everybody seemed to think either there was offside, that the play had stopped and the ball would reach McAlpin, but Nicholas is not of that nature, and then he went after it and slipped it very cheekily over the line with an almost trap shot. Back came United, and a lot of pressure by United in the first half, and that long ball which I think caused hesitancy from the goalkeeper Bonner again, but not from David Dodds, who swept it in. A good effort by Bonner to try and stop it, and then culminating in that tremendous climax with a thundering penalty kick by Eamon Bannon, superbly saved by Bonner again. 1 each at half-time. Well, Celtic kicking off now have the advantage of an extremely strong win. It's been absolutely lashing during the half-time interval. There's McCluskey! A great chance. Well, really, McCluskey ought to have put that away. All he seemed to do was hit it at the advancing goalkeeper. Beautiful flick inside, there's Aiken! The most delicately judged bacula by Charlie Nicholas, straight into the roaring path of Roy Aiken, and he blasted it way over. Hegarty. McCluskey. Played it out nicely, that's Mother McLeod. Falling in a divot, and he fights back. Refused to give up. Charlie Nicholas drifts away to the side, wants to go himself, and does it. Can he chip? He does, and it's just over. Well, he wanted to take on the entire United defence, coaxing them towards him, keeping control of the ball. One way, then the other, and eventually a bemused defence had to watch that curve over the bar. Bannon, Sturrock, whipped away by Sinclair. Nicholas has got a run at this. Well, the wind didn't help Nicholas that time. It was driving the ball away, but in fact, offside given there. Was off the ball, free kick, Even before Nicholas could, before Paul Sturrock could get to it, the charge was on him. Just over 5 minutes gone. There's no scoring in the second half. It's still one each from the first. And that's just in, yes! Offside given, I think. I think Sturrock was in an offside position. Well, that deceived Bonner completely. And it went to the far post, headed back, and I think the linesman is giving it offside for that final touch there. Dave Nerry just gets that down. On it goes to Aiken. Dodds is back. Sinclair there, that's good play by McStay. Celtic have 3 in the left. McCluskey. McLeod labels it a bit. Sturrock is away and Sinclair, I think, pulling at him. Free kick. Richard Goff. And again holds it back. There's Bannon. Right foot, just underneath it. And despite the fact that United are playing against a stiff wind, they have been able to get into that penalty area, into shooting distance. And they might well be saying that they're playing at this stage against the wind better than Celtic did in the first half. Goff, Dodds, Sturrock, nice reverse pass, Kirkwood, got him a bit of judgment there, beats everybody, Dodds particularly. Wow, I think David Dodds was the nearest to putting that over, swept beautifully across, and Dodds quite simply totally missed it. McAdam, straight away to Nerry. Celtic not playing well at the moment. That's Kirkwood. There's Stark. Goes too much of that. McCluskey lost sight of it, well picked up though by Probyn. Rightly driving towards the line, and I think Celtic will get the corner kick. They do. McAdam up menacingly there. Stark runs. Held on to it a bit too long. And that is a free kick. Right across the path of Reid. Mark Reid to Nicholas. Shimmies with it again. Oh, a lovely ball across. Oh, that just passed McStay. That was a beautiful move again. And when players act in unison like that, you see the best of football. Nicholas taking on the defence. Right over to the target man, pushed back. And McStay rifling it in just to the side. Still that ball comes back from the Dundee United half. Kirkwood stepping over at that time. Hegarty. Difficult man to get past Hegarty. Oh, Celtic giving a lot of balls away. Sturrock. Paul Sturrock has had, if we can see him, that's right, just out the way now. That's Paul Sturrock has had a very good second half. Almost given away by Celtic. McStay again comes out of a crowd of players with credit. There goes McStay, there's a brilliant, was it in? Aiken is there and he missed it. Was that in? It couldn't have been nearer. As I said, McStay came out of a crowd of players, pushed it away to the side, and then as he got the opportunity again, came in from the back and let rip. That's as close you can get to a goal without the lap of honour. Sturrock just getting his head to it. David Dodds to Bannon to John Holt going in, and a great save by Bonner. Again, United look capable of driving a wedge right through the middle of that Celtic defence. Bonner again coming to the rescue. Goff. High up and under, bit of slipping. Unfortunate there for Billy Cookwood. It seems to be a softer patch just on the far side of the penalty area. Down the outside, Sinclair, Sturrock goes in for that, Sinclair goes, and I think he's happy to concede that corner kick. And this is how valuable it is for United to be hitting long balls towards a man of Sturrock's pace and versatility in play. There's Carlinat again! There's the look, and over everybody is just away. Celtic, defiant, but under extreme pressure. McAdam just getting that away. They have not cracked, even though United have been piling it in. David Dodds tried to lay that off. That's McStay. His control is of the finest. Swept out well. Proven. Holt safely away. Nicely inside by Bannon. Now Holt. Oh, goes round the wrong way though. Oh, that's a lucky break for United. Sturrock couldn't get his eye over the ball. Bannon. Good tackle by Sinclair, by McAdam. Nearly gives it away. And Malthus makes sure that Charlie Nicholas wasn't going to pick up any error. Was a great save. McCluskey at last unleashing one. He's had a quietish game, but he did see a bit of a gap there. That was a sweetly hit shot, and McAlpin doing very well, curling round, curving his body to touch it over. And there is down from McAdam, and everybody stood and watched McAdam rise up and get a free header at goal.
And there was no more scoring. United had enough possession and displayed enough quality midfield play to have won a couple of games yesterday. But like the conditions, they became distinctly cold up front and thereby missed a clear chance of cutting back on Celtic's league lead. United ticked over in a way which at least will give satisfaction to those who feared they might go off the boil for some time. Well, they found some real form for the early season conviction, and I think it's significant that Paul Sturrock, who was closely watched by Graham Sinclair throughout, began to look freer in the second half and thereby produced some response from others around him. I thought Stark was immense, Kirkwood again very useful, Hegarty immaculate, and Celtic distinctly off colour. McAdam and Sinclair hardly gave anything away, and the most talented player in the field, in my opinion, was Paul McStay, who tried manfully to lead a revival that never materialised. Jim McLean was obviously disappointed he didn't pick out both points, but although he's a strong advocate of summer football, he did agree that the game had hardly been a failure as a spectacle.
I was very surprised at that, actually, because the conditions being damp on top of a very hard surface are the most difficult for players to play in. But I think that the first and foremost thing that makes a good game are the people on the terraces, and I thought again today there was magnificent numbers and a great atmosphere for the players to play in.
Should let them in free the next time with the conditions they stood in.
Well, if we don't start winning some games, we'll need to think of that, actually.
Well, talking about winning games, you said at the start to me that you anticipated that errors would be made because of the conditions and that goals would come. Now, the first goal seemed to have an element of that in it. I'm still trying to wonder why everybody stood back.
Well, I think that we were moving out we thought the player was offside, obviously, the way the players played, but...
Nicholas took it quite well, killing
was it
the ball
Nicholas? Well, that's a pity that he's still scoring, especially against us, because he put us out of the League Cup with one.
Yeah. Now, in fighting back the way you did, I thought, in fact, Jim, you played as well in the entire game, but picked up from that goal as I've seen you in quite some time.
Well, to be honest, playing Celtic, we would play Celtic every day in the week because it's one, it's a magnificent atmosphere, and it also is a great game because the 22 players out there trying to beat each other and try to beat each other as much as they possibly can within the laws of the game, and it's always a really attractive match.
Well, you must be delighted that David Dodds is a trier and doesn't give up, because that was a trier's goal he got, wasn't it? Kept going.
Yeah, well, that sums David Dodds up as far as I'm concerned. I don't think that anybody will ever say he's the most skilled player in the country, but he's one of the best because of his attitude.
Now, the penalty kick that you got, now, Bannon, it seemed to me, he really hit it with great force. Would you have expected him maybe to place it?
No, I think he was trying to make too sure, and it's a really bad height that he hit the penalty kick at. It's got to be lower or higher than that, because the goalkeeper can definitely get to them. But the goalkeeper did extremely well to go there. He guessed right.
Now, I'd ask you to be magnanimous and to talk about a player whom I'm sure you admire, Paul McStay. I thought once again he showed how skillful a player he is for such a young boy.
Oh, he must be a good player because he comes from near enough where I come from. But to be honest, I think that's where Celtic have a slight edge on the likes of Dundee United. We've brought in people like Richard Gough and Maurice Malpass who have done exceptionally well for us, but at the same time Celtic have brought in McStay and Nicholas, who to me are two of the most attractive players in Scotland, and the important factor is they play positions that you can definitely win games from, whereas the players that we've brought in are for positions where you just make sure what you don't lose games. And I would rather that we were bringing in strikers and midfield players than being able to bring in defenders.
But slightly disappointed, only 1 point.
Definitely very disappointed with what the players put into the game to come out with 1 point, but as far as I'm concerned, the league, our slight chance is still there, but we must now beat Celtic at least once at Parkhead.
Jim McLean, a son of Lark Hall, by the way.